Before I get started today, I wanted to let you guys know that a lot of your climate control issues are simply tied to one of the blend door motors refusing to function until it communicates with the boss. One of these Volvo class scanners. This is a VST system for those 90 model Volvos. There's also a program that people run on their laptop called uh, Vol FCR or something like that. In a lot of cases, these blend door motors simply get stuck, confused, and they quit working until they communicate with a Volvo class scanner. So if you're in some kind of Volvo group or know somebody that has one of these scanners, you may want to talk real nice to that person and try to buy the scanner from them, like a retired Volvo mechanic or a shop that's closing that used to work on these 90 model Volvos, and get one of these scanners or get one of these laptops with that software on there. And sometimes simply connecting this scanner to the car, telling it to communicate with that climate control issue, will clear up 8 out of 10 of these problems. I'm finding out that very few of these blend door motors are busted. So, just hooking up to one of these, if you're in some kind of Volvo group like RAV or Southern Cal Roll-In or something like that, guys got to get in some kind of group situation where you can get a hold of one of these scanners and people can connect with them. I had a guy drive 16 hours one time just to hook up to one of these Volvo systems. He lived in Las Vegas. He drove to Albuquerque. His car was stuck in heat on the driver's side. Within 5 minutes, his system was working fine and he was good to go. Never had a problem again. So if you guys got a Volvo group, it's good to have somebody in the group get a hold of one of these, maybe the main contact person for it, and hook these cars up occasionally. It's also a good idea to run that system in auto most of the time, probably once a week or once every other week. Select defrost to function that motor to get those doors open and closing. I've seen those doors glued closed for some reason in some of these cars. So you want to keep that stuff in auto most of the time, occasionally in defrost, probably once a week, 5-10 minutes every other week, or no less than once a month, and keep that system working properly. Very seldom, 20% of the time, one of those motors are bad. 8 out of 10 times, just connecting to one of these will solve that problem. So hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you could click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Time to get back on this V70 T5. Part 2 of this evaporator replacement and this dryer replacement. I got the evaporator pushed through the firewall yesterday, and that was the end of my day. So the box unit is bolted to the firewall. I gotta try to adjust the angle of these pipes so that the pipes will plug into them. That's a big deal, getting the angles of those pipes set up in the angle that will allow them to plug in. So I may have to loosen that 10mm screw, bend those pipes around a little bit. I normally put a 3/8 inch extension in there to try to move those around so that I can bend them where they need to be, something like that, without deforming the shape of that. Because if you deform the shape of that, they're not going to seal. Then you're going to be replacing it again. So be careful with that. Maybe better to bend the pipes out here, but they're a lot stiffer and harder to bend. These things ain't no joke. Anyway, I'm going to replace this dryer. When I get that dryer hooked up, then I'm going to hook up those and put this car back together after I fix these mounts. Again, somebody did a lot of work to those mounts, but they didn't strap over the top. So those mounts broke free. The one on that end was built out of metal, but these were just some kind of weird plastic supported, and they failed. So let me get to work. Last night I was struggling with the screw that goes in the bottom of the heater core. This is the screw they had in there, which is way too long, but I don't have the right length of one to go in there, which is the one here on the left is probably the right length, but the head of it stripped out, so I can't get a good T25 in there. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to go back in with this one. I may cut it, may not. Just put it in there the way they had it and move on with my life. I won't save any time by cutting it, but I don't have the right size. So let me put that heater core back together and then work on that dryer. Got the easy part done, the heater core in. Now it's time to get the hard part done. It is sometimes very difficult to get the lines off of this dryer here. So I'm gonna get the release tab, try to unplug that thing, and then get the tool on it to unscrew it. That nut, I think, is a 24 down there on that dryer. So let me try to unplug it up here first with my blue tool. Man, that even looks rusty. I need to brush that off with a wire brush. I need to brush that off with a wire brush. Can I say wow? I just got this dang thing loose. And I am sweating more get this dryer out than I was when I was exercising. So, let me lubricate that, put the new one in, and plug those lines in the firewall. I could not get that broken screw tip out of that bracket, so I drilled a hole through it. Then I drilled a bigger hole through it. Then I tried to drill the next tap through it so that I can tap it. The next hole bigger, but my drill bit was too dull. So when I went up to find one that fit, it made the hole too big to tap. So I got a screw and nut. It's going to hold that bracket on. Now I'm getting ready to plug these in. These are very hard to plug in. You have to have this thing lined up just right. So I'm going to put this pipe up here, and I'm going to bend that pipe until that's lined up just right. And then I'm going to spray it with some silicone lube and plug it in until it snaps. Then I'm going to do this one over here. So I'm going to put a wrench like this on it, and then I'm going to twist it until it's lined up to perfect alignment. I already bent the pipe out a little bit. As you can see, it's pressed up against the bracket. Once I get the lines plugged in, I'm going to squeeze those together and try to get them off the bracket. But I got to get them plugged in first. It's not perfectly aligned, so I'm going to have to manipulate this pipe a little bit. Bend it so that it angles a little bit closer to 11 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. Bam! Got both of them to click in. I squeezed the pipes in a little bit so they're not rubbing the bracket. Now I'm going to put that screw back down there, that T40, and tighten up that bracket there after I make sure it's hooked into the frame of the car. And then I'm going to work on fixing the dash mounts. Get that bracket screwed in there. It's hooked in the frame. I'm going to go ahead and line up this hole right there and put that bolt in there that's still stuck to that socket. Then I'll be done with this. I'm back from lunch and I'll brace up that dash. Get everything under the hood done. It's missing that seal, the engine smoke seal. Missing this cap. And it looks like somebody put the wrong alternator pulley on there. It's probably got a 960 pulley. And it sticks out about 1/4 of an inch, making that belt track off. I don't know if they want to fix that or not. They'd have to replace that alternator pulley. So I got this off because I got to service that. I got to burp the coolant system because it has the heater cord drained. And I'm going to keep on going, start working on the inside. I got that wire to splice. I don't have a heat gun, so I'm going to try to splice this with that torch without burning up everything under the car. So let me strip this wire here and try to put it together with one of my splices. This car has had an ignition cylinder replacement. You could tell because it has the screws in the ignition and the heads of the screws haven't been broken off. You're supposed to tighten these down until those heads break off. Somebody didn't know that, and both sides are still on. Now they may break when you try to take them out, if you try to take them out, but they're not broke now, so this may be able to be replaced easy. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.